The cosmic life of plants. When you look at the plant, the floral process comes the last. And when you look at the plant, this opening up into colors, fragrances, three-dimensional shapes, vertical expressions, all that means that the plant understands that it can be more than just a few leaves, a stem and a root. For me, a flower is an astral expression. Floral means astral. The astral world is a world of fragrance, of light and of colors, and lots of metamorphosis, lots of transformation takes place there. The astral world is a world of constant change in joy. It is definitely there. As much as the ancient rishis and yogis tell us, it is never the same. And that means that the universal law of nature is that nothing can be the same. And in the joy of changing from one level to the other, from the matter fields into the energy fields, from the material world to the astral world, and so on, inside of this transformation is the game of creation. Every living being wants to come to its essence. In that sense, aromatherapy is trying to understand what the quintessence of the plant is, and to use that essential energy of the plant for discovering our own essential energy. This is the most beautiful lesson about aromatherapy, and plants I have heard learning about the magical cosmic life of plants. Seeing them not only as something that coexists on our planet, but as living beings aiming to fulfill their purpose and to evolve into more than they are in the moment, not only in matter, but also in a spiritual sense. Life is on the move. Life is never stagnant, never the same, never identical. It is an evolutionary process where every living entity has a tendency to go further in the desire to be more than it is now. And this is what evolution means. And it is not something that comes from the dictate, from unseen spirit, universal agencies or laws of nature. It comes from the inner desire which is beyond matter, which is the main function in the material world, and also partially in the non-material world, which means to evolve. And to evolve to the highest means what? It means to close the circle. Because we, or every living thing, come into being by condensation of energy fields. And this concentration or condensation of energies gives us the matter. And all this tends to want to go back to the unseen, enigmatic field. It is a circle. When we speak of the Ouroboros from the Greek mythology, we see the serpent which bites into its tail. It means I am becoming. In the closing of the circle, I'm becoming something else. And I close another circle, and then again become something else. And that is what the plant also does. We cannot say that the conifer tree was there in the beginning of our planet, but there were kelp and algae in the water, and their possibility to go further. And when the kelp landed on the beaches, something happened and it changed structure. And slowly it maybe then became moss. And moss is still very low growing. There's not yet this deeply embedded desire to go vertical. But then comes a moment when the plant inbuilds in its own structure its own cosmic dynamics. The desire to go further, using gravitation or anti-gravitational processes on the planet, to go vertically more and more. And that is how finally, after a period of time, we can have bushes and trees and all these flowers coming up then. The plant wants to go further, but the plant wants not only to go further in terms of its changes of colors or fragrances or shapes and others. It wants also to go further in its floral process, because florals are, so to say, the last responses of nature, biological responses of plants to reach out for more, It's like us. We are also reaching out for more. We are reaching out to the level of our souls, to ourselves. In the essential oil, we link the earth element and the space-air element together. And in that sense, we have polar natural medicine. We cannot use linear medicine in terms of real healing. Real medicine must, in that sense, link polarities of life together. Because we are polar creatures. The word for essential oils in German is Ätherische Öle, which means etheric oils. It conveys that plants in their quintessential expression are made to be linked to the etheric world, to be linked to that subtle energy level. The root is linked to the soil, of course, and the flower is linked to the etheric world. And these two together, the grounding and the rising energies, we have very much in the essential oils. But when you say essential oils, you have to link this also to the notion of quintessence, of the alchemist. So that means I want to get from a plant that which in a sense is the hidden spirit and matter. That is why some people say that essential oils are the soul of the plant. I mean, you can say, although many plants don't have essential oils and still have a soul, of course, because they are quintessential in their being, in their own way. And then when you say etheric oils, you look at the connection with the ether, the space element, Akasha, which is the dominant element that is behind the thing. We have to focus mainly on presenting the understanding of holistic aromatherapy globally in order to understand really what is medicine, natural medicine, and natural aromatherapy, of course. And then we can help to spread the knowledge of yoga and meditation and connect it with aromatherapy. In the West, by giving courses and lectures as well as participating in a number of humanitarian projects which have the mission to raise the level of individual or collective consciousness in the world, we are doing our best to make people understand what essential oils can do for the human life, for the human soul. Pure and unadulterated essential oils are our allies on the path to optimal physical well-being and happiness. When I use essential oils, I always bow down. I can't do it otherwise. I bow down to the intelligence I feel and what I smell behind it. It is not a gesture of ritualistic rigidity, but it's more like an expression of my heart feeling connected to the plant. The famous Indian author and Ayurvedic physician Vasant, professor and director of the Ayurvedic Institute in Santa Fe, New Mexico, in his famous book, The Yoga of Herbs, describes the same thing. Vasant points out that we owe a lot to the plants. This is often not enough seen or enough expressed, but plants are kind of our ancestors on this planet. They have prepared life here on earth. They offer us food and shelter, beauty and medicine. In that sense, it is right to say yoga of herbs, which means we are able to connect, since yoga means union. We are able to unite with the plants, the plant kingdom, and then with ourselves, going deeper and deeper and seeing that we are not so different from the plants. The plants have lots of capacities, which have been discovered only recently. The plants have all types of behavioral patterns, unifying patterns, helping each other out. In that sense, they use the same principles which are on our planet. Principles of life, principles of support, principles of defense, principles of emotions, even principles of unity and polarity. Everything is all there, in plants as well as in us as human beings. Looking at the plant, we see intelligence of the universe. How is it possible that a plant can be so beautiful, so magically built in its expression? The looking and the adoration of plant is more like uniting yourself with the universal spirit. And that means with yourself. That is yoga. Yoga means looking at everything in terms of myself, but not egoistically, rather unifying, which means I am part of that. I adore being part of that, and I can bow down to that. The more we evolve, the more we unify ourselves with the core of our being. We are this adoration. Aromatherapy is becoming increasingly popular, not only in the realm of personal well-being, but also in scientific communities worldwide. We are beings of light, we say, and we need to heal ourselves with light. And essential oils are highly biophotonic, that we can only emphasize. Plants are drunk, we can say, with cosmic radiations all the time. They bathe in cosmic radiation, not only sunlight or moonlight, starlight, and all the invisible frequencies of cosmic light, all the larger spectrums of light. We can open our souls with the help of our allies, the plants, to be more connected. We can use essential oils as liquid nutrients, full of that light. Despite aromatherapy being an ancient practice, it is also modern and very much relevant in today's society. Rudolf Steiner, founder of anthroposophy, said, "Man is a plant turned upside down." This is so beautiful. We are, in our innermost being, rooted in heaven, as Rig Veda says. When in the 10th mandala goes, "The root of this tree grows in heaven." That is very true. Human beings are centered not to their feet to the ground, but they are grounded to the energies that we radiate from our heart and brain. That is what Rig Veda calls heaven, the world of light and of wonderful universal intelligence, which we may contact in so many different ways. And essential oils are one of them, besides yoga, meditation, and many others, to feel that we are really connected. And we need that light definitely for our health. If we are not having high levels of light, biophotonic light, as Professor Fritz Albert Popp from Germany once said, then we have a high risk of getting sick. Much of the chronic diseases today are due to a breakdown of coherent light emission on our cellular level, loss of biophotonic energy, which happens due to wrong food, wrong diet, wrong medicine, wrong behavior, wrong thinking, and all this together. Light is not abstract. It really has a physical existence. It feeds our body and our souls. We have discovered during the last decades how much our cell system is dependent on light and emitting ultra-weak coherent light, as Professor Popp explained. Plants store that light in their cellular system. When we take essential oils, we may take them for some symptom, for something we are going through, and we want to heal that, but we are healing on a much deeper level. When we use essential oils, we absorb molecules of intense energy, of frequency and of light, and they are effective very fast. Essential oils are linked to accumulated vital energy. We are experiencing today a new era of natural medicine as an answer to the failures of the modern allopathic approach and of our modern lifestyle. Many of these ancient principles of healing are based on shamanic wisdom. In that sense, we are getting back to our shamanic roots. Many of these plants have tremendous power on our consciousness, or are important for us spiritually spoken. In the final analysis, it is the healing of our soul, healing that which is missing, and making us remember where we have to go, where we want to go. Essential oils are the expression of the highest intelligence of nature. And the aromatic plants can help us to rise in strength, to recover health, and to make our lives more comfortable. We can enlighten our brain definitely, our central nervous system with essential oils, and become even more creative. I'm 100% sure. I have noticed that in myself. For me, it is a feeling which I have discovered, that we are more united with nature, the kingdom of plants, with the beauty, with the wonderful energies which are hiding behind, and the discovery that they are a form of yoga themselves. They help us for transcending so many things. The feeling that nature is a lively field of existence, of vibration, of light, of emotions, of beauty, gratitude, love. For me, this is not a religion. When you look at the plants, when you stand in front of the plant or of a tree, when you look into a little plant in the field to take a photo, there's a moment when you feel breathless and you can just say, thank you. It is a little bit like a prayer, but praying in a sense of admiration. How it is possible that such a beautiful thing exists? How much is there a probability that such a thing exists out of nothing, out of coincidental nothingness? I think it's not possible. And we as human beings want to know what is behind. We want to know the intelligence factor hiding behind. Some people speak of God, of this or that. That research has made our Western science to understand what is behind the things. And the Eastern science means what is behind me. When you touch or smell or look at the plant, you see, oh my goodness, there's really a lot of things behind.